Okay, um, welcome to the ArcBlock Technical Learning Series. Uh, my name is Tian Chen. I'm the VP of Engineering of ArcBlock. So today my talk is Forge Unveiled. I'm going to talk about how to deploy a chain, how to interact with Forge SDK to send transactions, to build applications. And before I start the demo, let's first look at what the status of the blockchain world right now. So we are in a crossroad of the blockchain. We have the very good foundation. We have the theoretical basis, uh, all kinds of algorithms, cryptographical um, algorithms are proved to be useful, to be valid in the blockchain world. And we have the proven cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple as an example. They are accepted and widely used by the people. And we do have the platforms for decentralized apps, for example, Ethereum and its successor, but they're still in a very early stage. So that's why I call it sandbox. In the past 2 years, there are some shining DApps like CryptoKitties, Foremost 3D. They have their big impact in various areas. And from the user's perspective, blockchain is getting more and more believers, followers, and early adopters. And last but not least, the government and enterprise, they are beginning to embrace the blockchain world. They found um, uh, various use cases which could potentially be solved by the blockchain technology. So we are in a good shape in terms of the marketing position. But what are the missing pieces? We know that if the blockchain technology really rise and get to the mainstream, we need the users actually use the decentralized apps. Right now, although there are over thousands of decentralized apps in the Ethereum or other platforms, their daily activity user are actually very small. So we need a lot of users actually use the DApps in their day-to-day work. But before we get into that part, the DApps itself need to actually fix the pain points of the people. And then if you want the DApps to actually fix pain points, we need the developers to build the DApps seriously. They need not to just build simple smart contracts or simple games, but they need to reinvent the applications to replace like Amazon, Taobao, Eventbrite, or similar applications. And then if the developers can build serious DApps, which means the entire tool chain need to be greatly improved so that it can release the potential of the developers. So this is the whole how the whole flow works, and we are still in a very early stage in the tool chain part. So that's the status quo of the blockchain technology. So we have the early market, we have the early adopters. we want it to be adopted by the mainstream. But how to do it? Can we cross the chasm? We need a lot of work in here. We need the complete solution for both developers and the users. We need to make the use of the blockchain technology as convenient as possible, and make the blockchain technology not only to build simple apps, but very complex app which connect the cryptographical world into the current web world. So that's what our Forge framework is designed for. Previously, I have done a bunch of trainings on the Forge framework. In short, Forge framework is our dream to make blockchain development as easy as web development. We want it to be the Ruby on Rails for the web developers, as for blockchain developers. So Forge framework itself is not only a simple framework, it's actually an entire ecosystem. So we have Forge CLI, a set of easy to use command, so that you can interact with the Forge. We have the Forge core, the main kernel of the Forge, which process the state and doing the peer-to-peer network consensus a lot more. And we have this so-called ABT chain node. It is a GUI of the Forge. We have building explorers and dev tools in the ABT chain node, so that when you bring a node up, you already got a block explorer and a lot of tools for you to use to either develop your application or explore the data in the chain. We have the Forge simulator. The main purpose of it is help you to send out transactions, send out all kinds of traffic to the chain, so that you can use it as a performance test tool, use it as a tool to generating traffic transactions for you, so that you can see how things work, how things flow in the node. We have Forge transaction protocols. It's a pluggable protocol that can execute a rich group of transactions. You can think Forge transaction protocol like a smart contract, but it's much more powerful. To make the developer to interact between the wallet and node much easier, we have this DID workshop, so that you can quickly prototype your DApps which can work with the wallet, and you can design the entire DID workflow with it. To support transaction protocols, we have our own Forge compiler. It is a compiler to compile the source code of the transaction protocol into a hot, uploadable and upgradable binaries, which you can send a transaction to deploy this protocol in your network. To make the data is more queryable, we have Forge indexer to index all events and state happened in the chain. And finally, we have the Forge pops up. It is a powerful event system, and we not only provide you the subscription for a specific event, but you can also subscribe to a certain event with very powerful filtering. So among all those tools, the most important one is the Forge transaction protocol. It is the it is the thing that empowers activities happened on a chain. If you use Forge to build your own chain, the first thing you want to do is you need to decide what kind of transaction protocols I want to include in my chain. You can customize all those protocols. You can just include a few protocols that need, and you can build your own protocols in your chain. So in short, we support trade, assets, account, state, and governance. Those are the main categories of the transaction protocols. For trade, we support transfer, exchange, and cross-chain atomic swap for trade assets or tokens between chains. So transfer is pretty easy. It's just like an Ethereum transfer. Exchange is a more complicated use case than transfer, that two people can exchange tokens and assets in one transaction, which means, for example, I have a movie ticket. I can't go to the movie. I want to sell this movie ticket for 10 ABT. So I can sign an exchange transaction. Says whoever want to spend 10 ABT, you can multi-sig to this transaction. Then my ticket will be yours, and your 10 ABT will be mine. So this is exchange. So it empowers the bidding system, like eBay, and merchandise selling system like Taobao with exchange transactions. For assets, we provide a big variety of transactions like asset creation, update, and consume. For consume, it is used for the use cases like you buy a membership card or you buy a national park ticket. The ticket is valid for a specific range of time. So once you consume the asset, it will have expiration, and within that expiration, this asset is valid for use. Asset factory, you can think of it of like a one vending machine that it is a factory to create all kinds of similar assets. Like if you are a theater, you want to sell movie tickets. Instead of creating all those movie tickets beforehand, you can create an asset factory. And once people want to buy an asset, they paid for the tokens for the asset. Then the asset is automatically generated and assigned to that buyer. And for account, we not only support declare, which means you can claim that this account is yours in the chain, but also you can migrate your account from one wallet to another. This is a pretty useful protocols that solve the pinpoint for the blockchain. That once your private key of the wallet or the wallet itself is leaked, you may lose all your assets. So with the migration, if potentially you know that your key might not be safe, you can migrate your existing account to a new account. So all the tokens will be transferred to the new account, as well as all the asset you owned will be pointing to the new account. and you can do this migrations again and again, just like in the real world, people do their password rotation every 6 months. Stake, we support a lot of different types of staking and governance. One can upgrade the node with in a target release with height, so that in that height, the entire chain will be upgraded to that release. So this this is guarded by the vote transaction, that as long as people agreed to upgrade, then upgrade can happen on the entire chain. Also, we have the upgrade protocol and upgrade consensus. Now I have a set of demos for you to look how good the Forge framework and ArcBlock technology is. First demo is one-click chain deployment. So for this one-click chain deployment, I'm talking about the real production chain deployment, not just I deploy a single node, or in my laptop, I just run a few commands and start a node. Then I claim I deployed a new chain. This is bullshit. So first of all, before I do the demo, let's see how ArcBlock deploy our chains. We have this network. We already deployed 3 chains. Each chain is deployed globally through 4 different regions in the US, EU, and 2 regions in Asian Pacific. So in each region, we have the Sentinel node and the validator node. And validator node, they have higher security level, which is guarded by the Sentinel node. And Sentinel node is that the node that you can directly connect and send transactions. And each region we have this. And to support the web interface of each chain and the GraphQL API for each chain, we also deployed ALB for each region, and then all those ALB converge to the domain which is geographically load balanced. So in a different angle, it looks like this. So for Forge framework, it is when we deploy it to the ABT chain, ABT network, it is not just a chain. It is actually a web accessible, geo load balanced, decentralized application platform. So it's more complicated than just some node sitting there, and you need to deploy that in a different place. You need to deploy this tool, that tool, to finally have a full solution. For us, it is one-click deployment. You will get a full solution. So let's see how to forge this. The whole process takes like 15 to 20 minutes. So I have this the video. I'll just explain what happened when I do those commands. And once we have a more mature solution for this, and we provide the GUI interface for this, we may publish this as a product. Now it's an internal tool. Let's see. First of all, I run. If I do make deploy, you can see I'm going to deploy a new chain called Sisyphus. So you can see right now I just got argon, bromine, test, and titanium in our ABT network. So I want to deploy a new chain. The first command I use is create a fleet. This will create a fleet of spot instances in the Amazon cloud. So the name of the chain is Sisyphus, and the version I'm going to use is 0.26.0, and I want to deploy 5 validators per region and 3 Sentinel node per region, and the hard disk for the data disk is 50 gigabytes. Yeah, those are the parameters I'm using. And internally, there are some other parameters like the price for the bidding. Those are hidden internally. Yeah. So let me just start deploying it. If you run through get some VPC information security group, pre-generated security group, then if you start the spot request, you can see here there are 1 request for 5 machines, 1 for 3 machines, and then all the requests are fulfilled now. They are fulfilled, and then I'll wait for all the instances started. Then I set I run various comments for those instances, and then use the existing certificate, which I have a configuration for that, and then I will create the ALB, the listeners, the rules for the listener, the target group, and then finally I will create the Route 53 DNS record. And then once that is done, you can see the domain now is accessible, and the ALB is up there. But since we haven't, all the target hosts are not up yet. Their web server is not up yet. So you can see there's file 3. Then I will run another command. You can see now if I do make deploy. Let me okay, get back a little bit. When I do make deploy, you can see Sisyphus is already there, and then I can run the init Forge network command, and still I will use 0.26.0, and then if you start the things, a lot of things, you can see now the network is gradually started. The node are up and running, but now since web is not fully started, you will see the this that gateway. Let me just make it quicker. Okay. Now the web is started, and you can see since we have 8 machines, this machine connect to 6 peers. Let me just make it faster. Okay. The next thing I want to do is, as I have a globally deployed a global deployed new chain called Sisyphus, and I want to create a new node in my local machine and join this network. So this is to do. First of all, I make sure I don't cheat. So I removed all the existing Forge in my machine. Then I install the Forge node, and then I join. You see, I join this Sisyphus ABT network.io API, and then I got its configuration. Then I run Forge start. Now my local Forge node is started, and I could look at the node from consensus engine, and you can see I already synced to it. And now you can see the Sisyphus. Now this node has 7 peers, which include my location. For my local node, I can start a web. Let me open a new browser. It is a local host, you can see, with port 8210. Now my local node connects to the one of the nodes in the chain, and I got fully synced. The next thing is because there's no transactions, I want to send some simulation transactions. So I still go to the Forge deploy and do the deploy, and then select the Sisyphus chain, and then I do the star simulator, and then let me make it faster. Oh, it's too fast. Let me see. Okay. Okay, you can see now. You can see now there are some simulation traffic happened on the chain, and you can see as time went by, there are more transactions happening on the chain, and you can see now it's 2,000 transactions. At the time I'm recording this video, there are already, let me close this video. Now let's look at this chain I created. So now I have already sent so much transactions. This is the first demo. Thanks for watching. Later I will show more demos for the Forge framework. Thank you. 做得好啊。